Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good day to you, depending where you are in the world. I'm in London doing the nighttime devotion from the devotional Christ Triumphant. The title today: Warnings Against a Depraved Appetite. Exodus 16 verse 3. Would to God we had died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the flesh pots, and when we did eat bread to the full. For ye have brought us forth to kill this whole assembly with hunger. God designed to bestow great blessings upon his people. He purposed to bring them to a good land, which for its richness and fertility was called a land flowing with milk and honey. God designed to establish them there as a healthful, strong, and mighty people if they would submit to his requirements. The people of Israel had lived upon rich and luxurious food in Egypt, not the most healthful for them. And God would bring them through the wilderness to the good land he had promised them. In their travels, he would remove from them flesh meats and give them simple yet healthful quality of food, and establish them in the good land of Canaan, a powerful people with not a feeble man or woman or child in all their tribes. Since the fall of Eve in Eden through intemperate desire to gratify the taste, this has been the prevailing sin of the human family. Eve, after her transgression, prevailed upon her husband to eat also. Adam was not deceived, as was Eve, but he was influenced by her to do as she had done. Eat and risk the consequences, since no harm, she said, had come to her. Adam yielded to the temptations of his wife. He could not endure to be separated from her. He ate and fell from his integrity. Since this lamentable occurrence, which was introduced sin into our world, intemperate, lustful appetite, and the power of influence that one in the wrong exerts over another, have brought an accumulation of misery that is not possible for language to describe. In no other way has Satan come with his temptations to fallen humankind as successfully as through the appetite. In their journeys through the wilderness, rebellion, insurrection were continually arising in the armies of Israel because their depraved appetites would not be indulged. Moses was brought into the greatest perplexity and his heart made sad through the continual murmurings of the children of Israel, because God, for their own good, withheld from them flesh meats. They were continually imagining trouble and anticipating evil. They were jealous of Moses, thinking that he might have selfish motives in leading them from Egypt, that it might be his desire to lead them into the wilderness so that they might perish there, and he enrich himself with their possessions. Warnings against a depraved appetite. So It firstly talks about Eve, who fell because of her appetite, not Adam. Adam fell because of the influence Eve had on him. But Eve fell because of her appetite. Through her eyes, what she saw, what she heard, and we're talking about the serpent. And then she saw the fruit that it was good, and then she tasted it. In fact, all her senses, the eyes, the ears, the touch, because she took it and then tasted it. And then she influenced Adam to do the same. And then it talks about the Israelites, how their appetite, because they were eating flesh meats in Egypt and they were so used to it, their bodies craved it, they craved it, their tastes craved it. But it's not good for our bodies. And this is why when they're in the wilderness for 40 years, they ate manna the whole time. I think there was the odd occasion where he gave them quail's eggs. But all the time they ate manna. And manna is kind of like flakes of flour falling from the sky. And they used to make cakes or little, cakes or whatever you want to call it with them. So you could call that a plant-based diet. But manna wasn't a plant, but it was pure food. Pure, good for their bodies. No blood in any flesh. And it purified them throughout the 40 years, their bodies to... And keep in mind that everyone that came out of Egypt didn't make it to Canaan. It was the next generation that went over to Canaan. Joshua led them. But they were renewed in body and faith. Because the Egypt was taken out. Egypt was forgotten in the last generation, and the new generation was all about Canaan. And this is kind of like dying to the old man and bringing to life the new man, which is a bit like baptism. You die to self and be born into Christ. And here they were murmuring, and it got to the point they were jealous of Moses, then thinking he brought them out of Egypt to deceive them, to get all their goods, so they would die in the wilderness. This is where the enemy leads us. He plays tricks with our minds. He puts thoughts inside our head. And we believe them, regardless how ridiculous they sound. Your appetite, what you eat, what you drink, even what you think, what you watch, what you listen to, is all your appetite. And that is what is all inside of your mind and your body. And it all needs to be purified. Otherwise, there's no going to heaven for you or me.